What's up, you all? Um, I'm gonna jump right into it. Maybe give you all about 25 seconds. Thank you, Raythel Jordan. Thank you. Give y'all a couple more seconds before I jump on. What's up, y'all on IG? Okay, the other day, um, what's up, Zoom K? What's up, Paul? The other day, Dr. Shiva put a tweet out. And the tweet, what's up, Kenya? Let y'all come in and say what's up real quick before I really get started. What's up, Jamar? What's up, the winning walk with Kristen? I'm sorry, Christina. What's up, Kaza? What's up, Pamela? So Dr. Shiva, he basically put this tweet out. I'm gonna read this tweet to you. I'm gonna give you my thoughts on it. Now, Dr. Shiva has been going hard on Donald Trump, RFK, Tucker Carlson, Elon Musk, Klaus, anybody that's pushed by the media, he's going in on. So here goes his tweet. He says, Trump is a house nigga of the Rothschilds. He is not a clever businessman, but wholly indebted to them for everything. He never earned, including the presidency. All else is theater to keep magatards on the swarm's plantation. Dr. Shiva for president. I'll read it again. Trump is a house nigga of the Rothschilds. He is not a clever businessman, but wholly indebted to them for everything. He never earned, including the presidency. All else is theater to keep magatards on the swarm's plantation. Then obviously Dr. Shiva, ShivaForPresident.com. The title of today's show is Intentions Matter. And there's a saying that says the road to hell is paved with good intentions. That means that many people had good intentions, but they somehow ended up suffering from damnation. And I'll tell you why. Because having a good intention only matters if your character backs it up. A good intention and poor character is going to lead to destruction. So Dr. Shiva tweeted this with bad intentions. Not that what he's saying is untrue, but it's bad intentions. Why? Because he put the phrase up there to bring about shock value. He wanted to get people talking about him using the word house nigga. So what was his intent? His intent was to get shock value, to get folks to come to his platform, and then to basically get the truth. The problem is you can't play the devil's game. What does light have in common with darkness? You can't play the devil's game, meaning you can't do things wicked people do to hopefully get a good result. So in other words, I can't change my brand just to appeal to a bunch of silly and ignorant people, which is basically what he's doing. Same thing with Angela Stan King and RFK. It's the same thing. The intentions are bad, and they're bad intentions because it's not genuine. Just like Now, Dr. Shiva's been saying this house nigga term a lot. He says it on every pod. But he's saying it to stir up controversy because his goal is to attract people to his message. I get it, but you can't use these kind of tactics because it's going to backfire. It's not going to work. There's no way in the world he's really running for president and he's saying the term house nigga. So he's not trying to become president. So then why are you running? Am I making sense? Is this making sense? That your intentions have to be pure. I'm not saying Dr. Shiva is a bad person. I'm not saying he doesn't mean well. I'm saying these tactics are the tactics that the world will use. And we should be using God's tactics. If you can't reel them in with the truth, they don't need to be reeled in. Christ said, I'm going to make you fishers of men. He didn't go to them spitting no kind of game. He wasn't running no con on them. He wasn't running a con. He told them the truth. Drop your nets and follow me because I'm the way, the truth, and the light. So Dr. Shiva, although he may think it's going to work, it's not going to work. You can't do what they do. The moment you do what they do, you validate everything they've been saying about you. That's why I'm not going to change what I do. What's the point? Once you change what you're doing and bow down to this mob of lowlifes, the result is going to be worse. They already don't like you. They're going to go from not liking you to hating you if you do that. At least now they got your respect. They at least respect you. They don't like you, but they respect you. But doing this kind of stuff, they're not going to respect you. Now, he had another tweet he put up. It's another tweet. Hold on. This might have been the follow-up tweet. Not this one. Not this one. Let me go back. Let me go back. Here we go. Okay, on this tweet, he says, feels like the swarm has already anointed Trump and they have big plans for him in 2025 and beyond. Never forget what he delivered them in 2020. Operation Warp Speed, CISA to destroy First Amendment, Jerusalem, Israel's capital, printed 8 trillion, made 600 billion billionaires richer, 2.3 trillion wealth transfer, saved Pfizer, locked us up, not Hillary. What is CISA? Oh, cyber infrastructure. Oh, let me go back. Cyber and Infrastructure Security Agency. Yeah. Well, we know what happened with that. They basically censored the truth for about 2 years. I'm gonna read what Shiva said again. Shiva said, feels like the swarm has already anointed Trump and they have big plans for him in 2025. Never forget what he delivered them in 2020. Operation Warp Speed, CISA to destroy the First Amendment, Jerusalem, Israel's capital, printed $8 trillion, made 600 billion billionaires richer with $2.3 trillion in wealth transfer, saved Pfizer, and locked us up, not Hillary. Out of these 7 points, I don't see one lie. Out of these 7 points, I really don't see one lie. And so the question is, if you think about it, Trump's presidency, let me just say this. To me, he's the best president that I've seen in my lifetime. Right. But with that being said, his last, from the time that Peter pandemic came, a lot of stuff happened from the Peter pandemic to he wasn't president anymore. And it wasn't good. Now, people can say what they want to say, but that Peter pandemic opened up a can of worms where literally we know the devil's real now. It could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. But what Dr. Shiva stated is actual facts. Now, most people, what he doesn't realize, are going to get hung up on the house nigga statement. They are not going to go into what he's talking about. This is why you can't use their tactics. When you use their tactics, what they do on the decadent side is they dangle little carrots in people's faces. So they say little phrases to get you all riled up and get your emotions going, but you'll never see the core of the message. And so Dr. Shiva, what he did was he had everybody focus on house nigga, but not the 7 things that he listed about what Trump actually did. And about him warning the people, saying in 2025, they have big plans for Trump. So he's saying it's not going to be good. Now, we already know whoever is in office, that puts us to 2028. And then 2 years from there is 2030. So that means whoever's president, 2 years from them being president, they're saying you're going to own nothing and be happy. Right, Kenya? It's spy technology. Now, Idris Singleton said the COVID lockdown was state laws, true, not federal law, true. He also gave us choices, not mandates, true, through the Supreme Court. It's also true. So what Idris Singleton said is also true. So even though what Dr. Shiva said is true, also what Idris Singleton said is true. And it is true that Trump did not force anything on the people. So I don't know how you want to look at this, but I will say this, that I don't believe we're going to have an election. And I don't, because it's, if the Democrats get out of office, they'll never get back in. I said almost 4 years ago, I said, when Joe Biden gets into office, they're never going to leave. I said, because if they leave, they'll never get back in. I said this. I'm telling you this now. If the Democrats leave office, they will never get back in. So they're not going to leave. So we're not going to have an election. They're not going to leave the office. They will never get back in. They're going to make up something. They're going to have all kind of false flags. They're still, think about it. This whole time Joe Biden's been in office, they've been talking about Trump. Think about that. 4 years of spending money with other countries, giving other countries money and talking about Trump. Border wide open, talking about Trump and spending money. So what are they going to run on this next election? The last election was, we got to get Trump out. So this election is going to be, we can't let Trump in. Like pretty soon it ain't going to work. It's not going to work. Not going to work. Now, Zelensky gave us a peek into what they might do. Zelensky said he can't have elections because he's at war with Russia. So Ms. Jackson mentioned this in the live. She said they're going to act like we at war, so we can't have an election. I'm just telling you all what they're going to do. They're going to do something. They are not going to have this election. They're not going to do it because they know they'll never get back in office, ever. These last 4 years have been insane. They will not get back in office. So they're not going to do it. I don't think they will assassinate him. I don't think so. Yeah, that Candace Owens interview was crazy because, again, all I'm saying is this, right? If we know that the snake bite is bad, then Trump should know. There's no excuse. I can't let that slide. Because what that brought about was the enslavement of you. What that brought about was utter madness. We saw communism on a global scale. We saw digital communism. It was too much. So on top of all of that, it was done for something that was just ridiculous. And so all these doctors out there are not risking their career. Think about it. Why would a doctor risk their 40-year practice to tell us who they don't know that this thing isn't good? Why would they risk their whole life's work? Why would they let it all go up in smoke to tell us about something that's fake? Come on, y'all. It don't even make any sense. These folks are risking their livelihoods, careers, all kind of their license, everything, families. Come on. So again, if everybody knows and he doesn't, that's a problem. That is a huge problem. You can't be that out of the loop. I'm sorry. You in the meeting with Candace Owens, she's like, no, you brat, come on, no. So, yeah, but let's continue. You're right again, Idris. You're right again. Trump also told everyone about ivermectin and hydrochloroquine. However, once majority took the snake bite, it was focused on getting reelected and had to go with the majority. I can't argue with what Idris is saying either. And again, I'm not taking anybody's side. I'm simply saying that you can't use wicked tactics to try to do something righteous. And so, again, what Idris is saying is true. And I will say this, and I've said this before on record. Trump gave y'all a chance. He said we need to try alternative methods. People said no. He said ivermectin, hydrochloroquine. People said no. He said TikTok, we needed some sunlight. People said no. He said we ain't got to do all this. People said no. So we know that Trump did offer something before the snake bites came out. And it is true. That is true. I'm not going to take that away from him. Now, the aftermath of that, he been on the sales pitch for it. You know. He did. Yeah, he didn't say drink bleach. He didn't say that. But anyway, my point is this. We're not going to have an election. I don't think so. It's no way. It just asked a great question. He said, if Trump said the snake bite was poison, how would we in the media would have responded? Oh, I know what would have happened. I know, listen, there would have been so much, it would have been an onslaught of both sides would have went against him had he had said it. Both sides would have went against him. Both sides. One thing I know about people, right? Most people don't want the truth. And as a leader is always faced with, let me say, a righteous leader is always faced with the will of God versus the will of the people. That's the dilemma in leadership. The will of God versus the will of the people. That's where the struggle is. What the people want versus what God said. And that's going to be the conflict. And so anybody that's leading is going to have a tough task. With this group of humanity right here, it's going to be tough. Most people don't want the truth. Most people are decadent. Most people want the easy way out. Most folks don't have any character. Most people really deserve what they get when it comes to leadership. They deserve it. Well, they say the presidents are selected. They say the presidents are all related. So my question is, if this is true, then why are folks running for president? If the presidents are selected and they're all related, then anybody that's not related to a president and running is running a game. It's a scam then. If what we're saying is true, the presidents are selected, and that means everybody running for president is running a scam because you don't believe you can win. That means you have bad intentions. This is why the title of today's show is Intentions Matter. Why are you running for president knowing you can't win? That is deception. It's deception. It is deception. Two people said illusion of choice at the same time. Illusion of choice, illusion of choice. So again, if we the people believe that the presidency is rigged, then why are we sitting by not doing anything? If we believe what we're saying, that the system is set up, then why are we complying? I'm asking a valid question. If we believe it's all set up, then why are we complying with why are we paying property taxes? Why are we paying income taxes? Why are we abiding by the rule? Why are we doing all this stuff? For what? If it's all set up, we can go rogue. We could be Mad Max. Come on. But again, hold up. Right, Jarrell. I'm going to say this. I said this before. Everybody wanted the snake bite. Both sides of the aisle wanted a snake bite. Everybody, most people wanted that snake bite. How do I know that? Because over 6 billion took it. Now, if it was half and half, but 6 billion took it, almost the entire planet. So people wanted the snake bite. So I can't put all the blame on Trump because folks wanted it. As a matter of fact, had he not did it, then Biden would have came in and did it. It would have happened anyway because people wanted it. You think folks wanted to work out, change their diet, eat right, go run outside, put down the drugs, put down the alcohol, put down the bad foods? No. Put down decadent life? No. Why do all that when I can just get a snake bite and keep my same decadent life the same? So at the end of the day, the people wanted that snake bite. They wanted it. And everybody was biding their time until it came out. Everybody was breaking the rules. Everybody was cutting up, was protesting in the streets. Everybody was partying. Everybody was biding their time until the snake bite came out. The same way everybody was biding their time until the doors on that ark shut. Before those ark doors closed, folks was biding their time. And folks did the same thing when it came to these snake bites. So, I don't know. No, listen, I get it. Listen, I get why Trump did what he did. I get it because you want to win. I get it. I get it. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue.
Hey, it's your favorite conspiracy theorist who points this kind of stuff out all the time. The feds, the people that a lot of you like to defend, the law enforcement arm of all of the rules in our country, they're at it again. They're building a list, and your name's probably on it like mine is, for things like opposing firearm restrictions, lockdowns, vaccine mandates, or support the border security. Are labeling them as domestic terrorists. Welcome to the club, folks.
Breaking news. The federal government has been illegally surveilling and building profiles for Americans in secret portals called DSAC for those who oppose firearm restrictions, lockdowns, snakebite mandates, and or support border security and are labeling them as domestic extremists. So again, they're not preparing to leave office. I'm just telling you all this. They're preparing to get more crazy. That's what they're preparing for. When you hear the term threat to democracy, what that means is threat to communism. A threat to democracy means a threat to communism. This is what they mean. And we know these people mean that because how did these people act when they had all the leverage? When the Peter pandemic was in full swing and them snake bites came out, how did people act when they had the leverage? How did the liberals act? How did blickety blacks act? How did the Democrats act? How'd they act? They were mean, rude, want you to lose your job, not get seen by the doctor if you're a life-threatening situation. They wanted you cast out of society. We saw what the left did when it came to this Peter pandemic and these snake bites. They turned into literal tyrants. They didn't want you to work. They didn't want you to eat. They didn't want you to go to school. They didn't want you in public. They wanted you outcast in society, and oftentimes they wanted you deceased. So make no mistake about it. These people have ill intent, and we saw it. I remember being in a gym one time, and there was a guy. He's part of the LGBTQP, don't forget X, Y, and Z community. And he went to the manager and he said, not enough people are wearing their mask. He said, people need to have their mask on or I'm calling corporate. So the manager gets up and the guys at the front of the gym, he's watching. The manager went to everybody and told them to put their mask on. Some folks didn't have one. The ones that did put it on. At the end of the day, that guy waited till he saw him do it and was done and then left. And I said, this is bad. These people have too much power. These people said you can't come into their establishment. You got to eat outside. You got to sit outside. We can't serve you. You can't do business with us because you didn't get the snake bite, because you don't have a mask on. We saw communism. We saw segregation. We saw Jim Crow. We saw apartheid. We saw the black codes. We saw every bad thing that folks reference as to why America's racist. We saw it during the Peter pandemic. And then most people acted like it wasn't even going on. Black people literally experienced segregation, Jim Crow, apartheid, all of it, and didn't say one word. Not one protest, not one riot, not one looting, not one flat screen was stolen, not one lace front was stolen. Black people complied. So again, these people have ill intent. I just heard Charlemagne the Fraud talking about how I'm not telling people to vote for Trump. He's a fascist. He tried to overthrow the government with like, it's crazy. Think about this for a second. Why would the White House call Charlemagne the Fraud? Because they didn't like what he was saying. Why did the White House call Charlemagne a fraud? Because they didn't like what he was saying. So either is Charlemagne a politician? No. Is he running for some kind of office? No. Does he work for the Biden administration? No. Is he with the Senate, Congress, the House? No. Why would the Biden administration be calling up Charlemagne the fraud? He is a radio personality. He's an entertainer. So why would the White House care what Charlemagne the Fraud is talking about? I'll tell you why. Because they think so low of you, Black people, that they believe you're going to listen to an idiot like Charlemagne the Fraud. They believe you all are so stupid and so dumb and have such low character that you all will listen to Charlemagne the Fraud, who was on camera admitting that he AR'd a woman. Same guy that bleached his skin. Same guy that's an industry puppet. They believe you're going to listen to him. They don't respect you at all. Look what's happened. Y'all been fighting for 100 years. And the end result is the White House telling Charlemagne to stick to the script. After 100 years of fighting, the summation is the immigrants get to come in illegally and get a check. The White House is using entertainers to sway you. They mandated snake bites, mask. They increased the inflation. Look at what's being done in this country. Y'all been fighting for 100 years, and the summation is the destruction of America. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, but a bad tree can. All of the Black people's fighting, all of that fighting, all that marching, all those lectures, all that rhetoric, all those books, all of that stuff has led us to here, where we're arguing about whether a man is a woman and whether a child can get a sex change. That is the summation of the Black empowerment / liberation movement. Is a man a woman, and can a child change their sex? And y'all want me to believe that all that stuff was legit, and the end result was death, destruction, and damnation. Right. Let's continue.
Conspiracy theorist who points this kind of stuff out all the time. The feds, the people that a lot of you like to defend, the law enforcement arm of all of the rules in our country, they're at it again. They're building a list, and your name's probably on it like mine is, for things like opposing firearm restrictions, lockdowns, vaccine mandates, or support the border security, are labeling them as domestic terrorists. Welcome to the club, folks. How did you make it onto this list? Based entirely off of your political beliefs.
Domestic Security Alliance Council, DSAC, with FBI and DHS, bases profiles entirely off of political beliefs, working with 650 companies to gather data on Americans using merchant category codes to flag people who shop at Bass Pro Shop, Cabela's, and or purchase religious texts. Listen, people, this is communism. Where they go in and they find the defectors. Who's not with the program? And I'm sad to say that Black people are going to be on the wrong side of history. Because when this fight really comes, Black folks are going to comply with all this stuff. They're going to comply.
Because you shop at Bass Pro Shop or Cabela's or purchase any type of religious books. But your bank is also helping them and doing things like this and giving those reports to the federal government so they can build a list based on the things that you buy because you swipe your card instead of paying with cash.
The FBI/DHS has been requesting personal financial information from banks without warrants to create these profiles and keep tabs on Americans who dissent from the government. I told you all, this is communism. Joe Biden is a globalist. This is a global agenda. They don't believe in borders. They want a one world government. So again, the informed people are going to be on the list. The uninformed people are not. Those that would take action will be on the list. Those that won't.
Thankfully, someone was able to uncover this plot to build a list with our names on it. Why do they hate you so much? Because you have a different belief than the government does on how we should be able to use the land that God gave us here on this planet. Because remember, Bill Gates and the World Economic Forum want to make sure you're eating bugs by 2030. And you're now considered an extremist because you buy religious textbooks. Don't you dare go to www.redpillrocky.com and buy anything, you extremist.
That's my boy Red Pill Rocky, man. Great content, great guy. But again, this is the greatest threat to the entire planet. It's a white man that's God-fearing, that has weapons and willing to fight. That's the greatest threat right there. And I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to prove it to you.
Saul Vasquez.
Oh, shoot. Is this it?
Details that you heard today in court are disturbing.
Not that one. Here it goes. I'm sorry. Here it goes. I'm sorry. Here we go.
For white rural voters, a threat to democracy.
They're the most racist, xenophobic, anti-immigrant, anti-gay geodemographic group in the country.
So, dear Black people, you all get online every day and talk about how America is racist. You all talk about overthrowing the government. You all talk about a revolution. You all talk about all of these things, and you're anti-American. But yet, they've never gotten on TV and said you all are a threat. Y'all don't hear me. Black people, you all talk every day about how you hate America. You want to take over the government. You want to start a revolution. You want to fight the white man. All of this stuff y'all talk about, and not one time have they gotten on TV and said you all are a threat. So I'm going to ask you all a question, Black people. How is it that your revolutionary rhetoric is not making its way to the mainstream news? Okay, let me ask a better question. Dear Black people, how is it that your talking points somehow don't offend the mainstream media? Now, the rural white folks in America haven't even said anything, and they go on TV as the greatest threat to communism. The rural white people in America haven't even said anything. They ain't marched. They haven't protested, nothing. And they're labeled the greatest threat to communism. You all talk about it every day, how you're going to start a revolution. You don't even get mentioned. So, dear Black people, what are the chances that you all are actually a threat? What are the chances that you all are actually a threat? Now, keep in mind, these rural white people have not marched, have not protested, none of that. They're not online every day talking this. They're not doing none of this stuff, and they made their way to mainstream news as the greatest threat to communism. What they're saying is the greatest threat to this global system is the evangelical Christian white male. That is the greatest threat, not the kings and not the queens. But you know why? Because what you all are talking about is what the system wants you to talk about. You all showed up. Listen, I don't know if you all remember, but people working for George Soros were in charge of setting up these riots. Y'all was showing up to riots, and they had bricks on the sidewalk waiting for y'all, and nobody thought it was a setup. They had bricks. In Atlanta, I saw it. They had bricks on the sidewalk, bricks downtown. And Black folks just walking down there, I'm going to fight for my freedom. Grab the brick, throw it through the building. I'm about to fight for my freedom. All the while, each of those protests, each of those marches had an organizer working for George Soros. So again, dear Black people, what you all are doing is not a threat to the system. Y'all don't get shadow banned for talking how y'all talk. Y'all don't get shadow banned. You don't get demonetized. You don't lose your accounts. Nothing happens to Black folks saying they want to take over America. Nothing. Nothing. Meanwhile, some poor person in a rural area in a trailer park is the greatest threat to communism. Sitting on his couch, him and his wife watching TV, and the news come on and say they're the greatest threat to communism. It's actually quite telling. It's actually quite telling.
Why are white rural voters a threat to democracy?
They're the most racist, xenophobic, anti-immigrant, and anti-gay geodemographic group in the country. Second, they're the most conspiracist group. QAnon support and subscribers, election denialism, COVID denialism, and scientific skepticism, Obama birtherism.
Now again, notice what he listed. He listed everything that is a part of the global agenda. I'll play it again. I'll play it again.
A threat to democracy.
They're the most racist, xenophobic, anti-immigrant, and anti-gay geodemographic group in the country. Second, they're the most conspiracist group. QAnon support and subscribers, election denialism, COVID denialism, and scientific skepticism, Obama birtherism. Third, anti-democratic sentiments. They don't believe in an independent press, free speech. They're most likely to say the president should be able to act unilaterally without any checks from Congress or the courts or the bureaucracy. They're also the most strongly white nationalist and white Christian nationalists. And fourth, they are most likely to excuse or justify violence. So Trump comes in and says.
So again, now, of course, true Americans believe in freedom of speech. So we know that's we already know the freedom of speech thing is what the left don't like. Now somebody on here said that's not our fight. Listen, this is how slow and dumb black people are. I'm saying it plain as day. Black people are dumb. Black folks believe that when Klaus Schwab says you're going to own nothing and be happy, he's not talking about them. Black folks believe when Bill Gates says we got to depopulate, he's not talking about them. Think about how disconnected black people are from the planet. These folks have a global agenda, and you got black folks on my page talking about that's not our fight, that's their fight. Are you nuts? Do you think they got all these immigrants coming into this country and they gonna leave y'all alone? Y'all got a glimpse of the immigrants in New York, Oakland, and Chicago, and y'all are crying already. The immigrants haven't even done anything, and black folks are already crying. The immigrants haven't even done anything, and black folks are already crying. Could you imagine what's going to happen when they get their orders? This is how dumb black people are. And it's not dumb from intelligence. It's dumb from a lack of character. Black folks don't have any honor. They don't have any honor. You mean to tell me they want a one world government? They want a global citizen. They want everybody digitized, chipped up, marked and tagged, but not black people? So they're going to have the whole world locked down with black folks running free. They're going to have the entire planet locked down, but black folks going to be running free. This is how insane black people are. This is why black people are the greatest threat to the planet. Because the very group that's being used is never going to wake up. BLM got exposed. Black folks don't even talk about it. BLM made billions, bought houses, airports, balled out, and black folks don't say a word about it, like it never happened. Black folks still wearing Black Lives Matter t-shirts. Even the chapters of Black Lives Matter didn't get any money from the headquarters, and they still got them running. Black people, and my boy Dinah Samir says this, black people are the greatest political liability on the planet. Black folks believe that when Klaus Schwab is talking about putting chips in your head, he's not talking about them. Black folks think when Klaus Schwab is saying putting a chip in your head, they're thinking about rap snacks. Why he gonna put potato chips in our head? He gonna mess my hair up. Black folks are lost. Do you understand? My boy, the other night, my boy said, he asked somebody, he said, what would you do? He said, it's paratroopers coming from the sky. He said, Chinese paratroopers dropping down. He said, you look, He said, you see a white guy in a truck. He said, listen, man, get in. We can get out of here. Hop in. Let's go. He said, what would you do? You know what this niglet said? You know what this niglet said? He said, I wouldn't do it. I said, you gonna die. Think about this. You got Chinese paratroopers dropping from the sky with guns in their hand. You got a white guy saying, hey, man, let's go. This man said, I ain't going to do it. I said, and you're going to die. Do you know how many black folks are going to die because they think it ain't going to happen to me? You know how many black folks are going to get their head knocked off because they think it's not going to be me? Joe Biden already said, I'm inviting the UN over here to investigate racism. And when the UN finds racism, what does that mean? Y'all just okayed martial law. Goodness. This is crazy. These people saying it ain't going to happen to us. Goodness. Dang, I got the wrong one on here. Dang. Let me finish this clip first.
Let's just hate on cities. Let's just hate on minorities. Let's hate on immigrants. And at least they can deliver on that. And so they're not even voting in their material interests anymore. He was just a conduit for their rage, their anger, their resentment. And that turned out to be what they wanted. And it wasn't really about the material conditions of their lives, because he didn't improve their lives, but he got more support in rural areas in 2020 than he had in 2016, despite the fact that none of their problems had gotten any better under him.
You know what's funny about these two talking is that when libtards and nigglets hear this, they believe it. You let the average black person listen to these guys talking and they're going to believe it. That's how dangerous it is. The average black person will sit in front of them and believe them. This is why I say when the Antichrist is talking, what's going to make black folks say we're not going to follow him? Black folks fall for all the propaganda, all of it. White rural America doesn't believe in all this handout stuff. White folks in rural America are industrious. They're working, improve their lives. They're not asking for socialism. They're asking for America to be America. They're asking for opportunities. They're not asking for socialism. White folks in rural America are not begging for government handouts. That's a lie. You're talking about Christian, rural white people living in rural areas that are conservative. They're not begging for handouts. Wrong demographic, buddy. That's the folks in the blue cities. These folks have made a whole lie. And black folks eating it up. Liberals eating it up. Eating it up. How is the greatest threat to communism going to be some folks that won't? So it don't even make any sense. What you are saying doesn't make any sense. How can the greatest threat to communism be a bunch of people who want socialism? That's dumb. It's contextually ignorant. The rural white Americans, the rural white Christian Americans aren't asking for, they're asking for America to be America. That's what they're asking for. That's why Trump got more support, because of what he represents. What he represents to people. They're trying to give you context on somebody. They're trying to make you say no. And black folks eat it up. Black folks eat this mess up. Black folks eat propaganda up. like they eat up pig feet and chitlins and tripe and cow tongue and hog maw, neck bone. Black folks eat this propaganda up like it's the best soul food they ever had. Pork rinds with hot sauce on them. Black folks eat this propaganda up. Oxtails over rice. That macaroni and cheese, they got to go in the oven. Them greens with them turkey necks in them. That potato salad. Them deviled eggs. That rice and gravy. Them cheese grits with fish. Black folks eat up propaganda like it's delicious soul food. You'll be hard pressed trying to find a black person that their main dish of choice ain't propaganda. Black folks consume propaganda and get the itis. In 2020, black folks consume so much propaganda that they're still under the spell now. Black folks are only complaining because they see somebody else getting some free stuff. So think about this. Think about how bad it's been these past 3 years, 4 years for a sane person. Like we're all like, these past 4 years have been crazy. Black folks aren't even affected. Think about this. Black people with all this quote unquote history aren't even affected by the past 4 years of how crazy it's been. They're not even affected. Come on.
All that he gave them was a way to essentially give a big middle finger to Democrats, to people who live in cities, and to the rest of the country.
They're pissed off.
They are pissed off, and they have some reason to be with both parties.
White rural rage, the threat to American democracy.
Visit Everyday is June.
This was a black site that posted it because the website is Everyday is Juneteenth, Whiteness Studies. The anti-white agenda is the anti-God agenda. And make no mistake about it. The man just told you. He listed everything a part of the global agenda, and he said that white folks were against it. Not black people, not Hispanics, not immigrants, not LGBTQ, not liberals, white people. The greatest threat to communism is white people, conservative, Christian, white people. White people with values and morals and respect are the greatest threat to this global communist agenda. Not black people. Black folks are none the wiser after 4 years of this. They're none the wiser. Black folks are still up under a George Floyd spell. Still up under a Breonna Taylor spell. Still up under a Jacob Blake spell. Still up under a Black Lives Matter spell. Still up under the snake bites. Black folks still wearing the mask. Black folks are still wearing the mask. Listen, IG, I will be back in about 20 seconds. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm going to ask you all a question before I go forward. Tell me what the masses of black people believe in that's good. Give me something that most black folks believe in and tell me if it's good. I'm going to wait. Give me something that the majority of black folks believe in and tell me if it's good. The majority of black folks don't believe in Jesus. The majority of black folks believe in a version of Christ that ain't real. Black folks don't believe in Christ because if they did, they wouldn't be calling themselves black. Their identity would be in Christ. You know, black folks don't really believe in God because black folks want to be black. If black folks had to choose between being black or Christ, they're going to pick black. Black folks don't believe in. Give me something that black folks believe in that's actually good. Nothing. Nothing. What the mass of black folks believe in is not good. Now look at this person said the majority of black folks are conservative. It's a lie. The majority of black folks are conservative compared to libtards. They're not conservative. Black folks get married at 30%. That's not conservative. Black folks believe in socialism. That's not conservative. Black folks believe in communism. That's not. Black folks are not conservative. Black folks believe in government handouts. Black folks believe in communism. Black folks believe in socialism. Black folks believe in feminism. It just, all you got to do is just go look up studies of what the majority of black folks believe in. It's not being conservative. Black folks believe in abortion. Black folks believe in don't snitch. Black folks are not, that's a lie. Black folks are not conservative. Black folks are not conservative. Nobody can articulate to me how black folks are conservative. Nobody. Nobody can tell me what aspect of black culture is conservative. None. Give me one aspect of black culture that is conservative. The mere fact that 90+% of black folks vote Democrat means you're not conservative. Think about this. Black people are the only demographic that votes almost 100% for one party. Black people are the only demographic that vote almost 100% for one party. You're not conservative, black people. You're conservative compared to the libtards and the demons, but y'all ain't conservative. Not compared to a real conservative, you're not. Y'all don't believe in marriage. Y'all don't believe in community. Y'all don't believe in it. Black folks ain't conservative. Black folks are propaganda machines. Black folks consume propaganda and then go carry it out. Black folks are not conservative at all. Not economically at all. So the saying that black folks are conservative is a lie. It's a lie. You go to the average black church and tell me if it's conservative. You go to the average black church, it's a bunch of women and a bunch of homosexuals. And the pastor up there not preaching God's word. Just a bunch of pomp and circumstance. Well, I said if you see the light, well, when you're in the dark, that's black church. I said I saw the light, but I was in the dark. Turn to your neighbor and say, I was in the dark. Come on, that's black church. They ain't conservative. Black church ain't celebrating family. I was in the dark, but I saw the light. Glory. I said glory. That's the black folks ain't conservative. They want a show. Black folks love Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is the black church. Democratic Party is the black church. Turn to your neighbor and say, I saw the light. Turn to your other neighbor and say, in the dark. Glory. That's black church. Foolishness. Ain't nothing conservative about black people. Not nothing. Black people are walking poster boards for this global agenda. Everything Klaus Schwab wants to do, you can find in the black community. Who are we kidding? I wish I had my rag, y'all. I wish I had my rag. Saints, he go 99% of black churches leading up to the election. Saints, we are in a very critical time. We are seeing our country at the verge of being taken over by a force that we thought was long dead. By a force that has come up from those old roots of slavery and Jim Crow and segregation. Those old demons have come back. And saints, this election is going to be the most critical time of our life. Now, I know none of you all want to go back into slavery. Now, I know none of you all want to be like Joseph when he was thrown in the pit and taken to Egypt. So when you vote, I want you to think about Joseph. Think about Joseph down in that pit, not knowing if he would be saved, bloody and bruised, looking up at the stars, hoping that there was a God to come save him, praying for a God to come save him. Think about Joseph when you go into the booth. Think about that pit. That's the black church. That's black people. Foolishness. Black folks are not conservative. Anybody telling you that is trying to be deceptive, which means they're lying to you. Dub be singing them songs when they give it to church. I love him. I said I love him. It is utter foolishness what the black church is. Right star, baby. Conservatives are believe in God, family, and country. That ain't black folks. But let's continue. Let's continue. I love him. Sing it, brother. Sing it. I love him. Well, utter foolishness. Utter foolishness.
Bisexual, angry, sad, strong, sensitive, scared, fierce, talented, exhausted.
I'm gonna play this again. Viola Davis gets paid to be able to cry and slang snot. That's in every movie. She make that worried slave face, and that's how she make her money. In every movie script she had, they got a scene where she could get ugly and cry. Remember in Fences? What about me, Troy? She sounded like Rocky. Remember Fences with Denzel and Viola? What about me, Troy? I had dreams. Troy, I had dreams, Troy. That is her money maker. Viola crying. Let me tell y'all something right now. If y'all can cry on command, you can go work in Hollywood. If you can cry on cue, you can work in Hollywood. Trust me. I'm telling y'all, if you can cry on cue, you can work in Hollywood. Easily. Easy. What about me, Troy? I was right there. I'm like, is she Rocky or is she Viola? What's going on? Slanging snot, mouth twister, Adrian. Let's continue.
Black, bisexual, angry, sad, strong, sensitive, scared, fierce, talented, exhausted.
They and basically what she told you all is what it means to be black. This is psychological programming. And it's psychological because the media and the government echoes what Hollywood is putting out. So the reinforcement, this is why it's programming, because it gets reinforced in real life. So when you leave the movie theater, you see this stuff in real life. It'd be somebody getting interviewed that night or the next day with the same lines. Look what she says being black is. Look,
Black.
look. Listen.
Black, bisexual, angry, sad, strong, sensitive, scared, fierce, talented, exhausted.
Oh my goodness. Listen, now they on my page, so now talking about how I view black women. Let me ask y'all women a question. Have I ever told you women that's on my platform that y'all was anything negative? Anybody that can chime in and tell me, have I ever said anything negative about these women on my platform? Ever. Ever. Have I done anything other than give encouragement? Right, Pamela. She ain't talking about nothing. What she's talking about is it's a script. This is what black is. Black is LGBTQ, trans. Black is suffering. Black is oppression. Black is hard. You know, it's programming. It's programming. They can't never tell you. I got all these videos out here in this social media world, and they never can clip what I'm accused of. They say I say all this stuff. I got all these videos, and they never ever produce a clip of me saying this stuff. Ever. They never say, listen, we got Blanche dead to rights right here. Never. But let's go to a more serious note. And this person gave me a great segue into the women.
Details that you heard today in
Now, I'm going to say this, right? I remember being young, and I remember my mother being a victim of domestic violence when I was young. I remember it's still vivid images and scenes, sketched in my mind, of us running through the house, getting in the car, locking the doors, calling the police. I remember that stuff when I was a child, maybe 4 years old, 5 years old. My dad left when I was 6 years old. But I say all that to say that most oftentimes, Black women put themselves in situations that are very detrimental. And when I say this, because Black women really have to make a choice, because you have what God said over here, and you have not just the world, but also Black culture. So Black women get a double whammy because they have to deal with Black men. So a lot of Black women, most Black women, put themselves in bad situations because they're dealing with not just Black culture, not just the world, not just propaganda, but also the men. And I saw it firsthand my whole life. I saw it. Black men can say what they want to say, but I saw it. The communities were the way they were largely because of Black men. Black men either not protecting, or Black men being violent, Black men selling drugs, Black men causing chaos. It is what it is. I'm not absolving the women, but the Black men were supposed to lead. So again, on the Black man's watch, all this stuff happened. The Black man was supposed to be at the gate, keeping watch and keeping guard, but he wasn't. The devil gave him the fruit and he bit it. So most Black women by default are going to have to deal with a man that has an excuse. Most Black women will have to deal with a Black man that is not fit to lead. And I'm not going to say that he can't lead. I'm saying that Black men have an excuse. If you listen to Black men talk today, Black men literally blame the white man and Black women. They blame the government. They blame the system. Black men are the only men on the planet that can blame everybody but themselves. If you don't believe me, listen to Ben Crump. If you don't believe me, just listen to the so-called leaders in our community, and they all are complaining with excuses. From Ben Crump to Al Sharpton, Charlemagne the Fraud, you pick any, Van Jones, you pick any Black man, liberal, Democrat, heathen, they're going to be complaining. I just saw Andrew Gillum on a podcast talking about Trump, and he was found in a hotel with a white porn star getting drilled with using cocaine. Andrew Gillum got the audacity to talk about Trump, and you was found in a hotel room, coked out of your mind, getting drilled by a white dude, and you're married to a Black queen with a family. And Black people let him talk. And Black people let Andrew Gillum talk. If I was caught in any kind of scandal, they would bring it up every time I went live. Every time I posted a video, Andrew Gillum was in a hotel getting drilled by a white man snorting cocaine. He's in a white hotel with a white man with some white cocaine, cheating on his Black wife and Black children. And y'all got the audacity to call me a coon. It's Black men bending over literally for white men, and y'all are calling me a coon. The black man is weak. And I mean what I say. How in the world can Andrew Gillum even open his mouth after what he did? Cheating on his wife and children with a white man, porn star, getting drilled, using cocaine. At the same time, this is after he got the black vote. After Andrew Gillum got the black vote, he repaid black folks by getting drilled by a white man and using cocaine, paying the white man with taxpayer money, buying drugs with taxpayer money, cheating on his black queen and his children. And y'all calling me a sellout, but he gets a show. The black man is weak and pathetic. Let's continue.
The details that you heard today in court are disturbing and heartbreaking.
Yeah, Morgan, that is right. This case is beyond disturbing, and it was an emotional day in court. Now, one of the saddest details I learned today is that Mahogany Jackson came to the first location thinking these people were her friends. Investigators say they then tortured her, and the things that were described are why Judge Keisha Davis says she denied all of these suspects a bond. Now, Birmingham police homicide.
Now, you got 8 black men lynching this black woman, black girl, because she snitched. You got 8 black men lynching this black woman because she snitched. 2023. 2024. You got black folks protesting, rioting, and marching for George Floyd, but not for this black woman that got lynched. Where's the outrage? Now, I know you mad at Trump, but 8 black kings R-word and murdered and tortured and beat this black queen, and there's no outrage in the black community. But they got the audacity to come on here and call me coon and sellout. But I bet they don't speak up for her. I bet the same people calling me a sellout and a coon won't speak up for Mahogany. Y'all killed this girl because she snitched. Because y'all are doing wrong. But black culture says if someone does wrong, don't tell. But y'all are conservative. Play it again.
Details that you heard today in court are disturbing and heartbreaking.
Yeah, Morgan, that is right. This case is beyond disturbing, and it was an emotional day in court. Now, one of the saddest details I learned today is that Mahogany Jackson came to the first location thinking these people were her friends.
My bad. 6 men and 2 women. My bad. Which makes it even worse. So you have 8 black people, 6 men and 2 women lynching this young lady because she snitched, because they said she snitched. She probably didn't even snitch. They probably got online like they always, they get on social media bragging, and they probably told on themselves already, but they blamed her.
Investigators say they then tortured her, and the things that were described are why Judge Keisha Davis says she denied all of these suspects a bond. Now, Birmingham police homicide detective Mark Green says the first stop was the home of suspect Brandon Pope. Now, that's where Jackson was beaten outside while she was naked. Officers say some of the suspects beat her while others recorded the beatings. Now, Jackson was stomped and kicked, and then prosecutors say one of the suspects can be heard saying, "Put her in the trunk," and then she was dragged naked in the street. Now, Jackson was taken to.
Now Now, this is black people. This is the same people get online and say America's racist, police are racist, all this stuff. But these are the same people that's beating this girl like a dog in the street and then saying, let's put her in the trunk. See, I don't know if y'all know about this, but if you grow up in the inner city, you'll see how violent and sadistic black folks are. I don't care about y'all getting mad. Black folks do the most heinous and torturous stuff to each other. It is unimaginable what black folks do to each other. They don't even get mentioned. Y'all been hiding behind white folks all this time. No more, not on this platform. Y'all getting exposed. Y'all getting exposed. So as if beating this girl wasn't enough, she naked in the street, bloody, beaten up. Y'all say put her in the trunk to torture her some more. Where is the outrage from the feminists? Where's the outrage from Black Lives Matter? Where's the outrage from the Democrats? Could you imagine if 8 white people did it to a black person? Don't tell me ain't no black privilege. Don't tell me ain't no black privilege. If 8 white people did this same thing to somebody black, the whole nation would be on fire right now and y'all know it. But because it's black on black, y'all don't care. And it's disgusting. Let's continue.
A second location, and I want to warn you, this will be hard to hear. Prosecutors say Jackson was sexually assaulted at gunpoint. Officials say she was handcuffed, beaten, pistol whipped, and then spat on. Now, Jackson's family, including her mother, were present in court today, and as they read out the evidence, you could hear them getting very emotional. DA Danny Carr says, though, this will be a long road to get justice for Mahogany, and he also explains why only 5 out of the 8 suspects were present today for the Anayas Law hearing.
The individual.
Black folks been hiding behind racism all this time. And because there was no accountability in the black community, this is where we are today. This is where we are today. If a man has an excuse, eventually he's going to turn on the women and on the children. If a man is not leading, meaning that a man is out of position, that position of leadership is still there. Most people think that black women slide into it, but they don't. Satan goes in that position because that position is only reserved for a man. So all these black men that y'all been hiding and sheltering throughout this whole time have turned against the black community. They turned against grandparents, mothers, girlfriends, baby mamas. Why? You wouldn't believe the type of stuff black men are doing. And you can't blame slavery because y'all wasn't doing it when you got free. These people done tore, and guess what? And there's many stories of this. There's many stories. I'm just mad at this one because y'all talking about Trump. Y'all mad at Trump, but you're not mad at these people lynching this girl in public, in the middle of the street, and nobody stopped it. In the middle of the street, and nobody stopped it. And y'all want to convince me that it's Trump, that it's the system, that it's racism, that it's the police. I rebuke it. If black folks are the way y'all say they are, this stuff couldn't happen in the black community. The fact that it happens lets you know that everybody's complicit. And again, don't snitch. Keep in mind, they tortured her and brutalized her and killed her because they said she snitched. They said she snitched. That's what they said. But you and I know, we know how these fools get online bragging about the crimes they committed. We know this. We know they make songs about killing people. We know this. They make songs with the address and the date and the time. We know this. That girl ain't snitch on them. Let's continue.
That are charged with capital murder. Obviously, you know, the law, the statute and the rules of criminal procedure says that their bond can be set at a no bond automatically. The individuals that are charged with felony murder, you know, the statute requires a hearing. The next step, obviously, is there'll be further investigation with Birmingham Police Department.
Yeah, another sad thing we learned today was that the suspects wanted the password to Mahogany Jackson's phone. Officials say they even told her if she gave it to them, they would let her go, only to kill her anyway.
And they show up, every one of them black. Not a white person in this lineup. They asked the girl for the password to her phone, and they killed her anyway. Sick. Y'all want me to bypass stories like this and focus on the police? Are y'all crazy? You want me to bypass this and focus on Trump? And they lynching people in the streets and nobody's doing nothing about it? I rebuke it. I saw this story that I immediately got upset. Hold on, it's 4 girls and 4 dudes? God, them women look rough. It's 4 girls and 4 dudes? Goodness. Goodness. It's sad. And I was upset about this story because I just watched them videos of people talking about Trump. Y'all talking about Trump. We got Klaus Schwab saying by 2030, you're going to own nothing and be happy. We got black folks. We got black women having abortions. We got black men killing. We got black people not getting married. We got black children growing up in a single parent house. We got black children can't read or write, do math. We got all this stuff going on. And with all this going on, y'all can only focus on Trump. I rebuke it. I rebuke it. I rebuke it. Talking about white supremacy. Let's go to Africa. Let's go to Africa real quick. Let's go to the motherland.
Nikisema pale nikule nyama zake basi ninaipika nikaitika.
I'm gonna read it for you because y'all probably can't see it. I'm gonna read what she's saying. It's Africa now. It's the motherland. After they killed him, her husband, they cut off his legs and private parts. They cooked the body parts and told me to eat it. This is in Africa. This is a woman. So this was men doing this to her. After they killed him, my husband, they cut off his legs and private parts. They cooked the body parts and told me to eat it. This is what y'all praise in Africa.
choma buche bwake ase tukwe na bukuru seka sipendi lala nabo.
They told me if I don't sleep with all of them, they were going to take my life. So not only did you take her husband's life, but you chopped him up in front of her and you cooked his body parts. Now, what y'all want me to believe is that a group of people this sadistic and crazy are isolated incidents. This happens all the time in Africa. This. So you kill her husband, you chop him up, you put him in a pot, you cook him, and then say, you got to sleep with us and you got to eat him.
Ase bataniua. Jokile nilala nabo. Maka walifanya violence niko na.
So 4 men took it from her while she was pregnant with the baby she's holding now. Can you imagine? Look at her face. Can you imagine the trauma on this woman to see some people? Now, the world is telling you it's white people. The world has told you that the white folks are the boogeymen and the boogie women. But in your nightmare, when you close your eyes, all the monsters look like you. The world is telling you that the white people are who you should be worried about. But when you close your eyes in your nightmares, the monsters look just like you. They mutilated her husband in front of her, put his remains in a pot, and told her to eat it after we all take advantage of you sexually. So I had no choice. They made me eat my husband's private. We saw 2 incidences. We saw 4 black men and 4 black women lynch Mahogany and do the R word to her, torture her, brutalize her. Now we go to the motherland. They up the ante. Now they done chopped up the body parts, put it in a pot, cooked them, and said, eat them after we take advantage of you sexually. And the media is silent. Black folks are silent. White liberals are silent. I can't even imagine what Mahogany was going through before she was ultimately her life was taken. I can't imagine what she is feeling right now. How do you think she views life? Think about her life, her husband. Think about how she views life. This makes her question God. Like, it's God can't be real. I'm going through this. It's impossible. And we already know about how the men would give the girls in Africa AIDS. We know about that. We know about how much chopping the albino children up. Listen, we know about all the stuff going on. We can't talk about it though. Because Trump got some tennis shoes. We can't talk about the brutality and savage acts that go on in the black community in Africa because Trump got some shoes out.
Details that you heard.
Keep in mind that this same mindset in Africa, where they would chop somebody up and make a soup out of them, oh, they over here too. Oh, they over here too. Y'all didn't know? I've been telling y'all about Africa the past year and a half, about what's really going on behind the scenes. They over here now. And they setting up shop. Let me go to my super stickers real quick. Cruise Missile, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Alex Scott, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Vintage Goods Willie, Reverend Pork Chop, and Pastor Ribs, thank you so much. Vintage Willie for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank y'all so much for all the love and support. You know, this stuff really bothers me. And it bothers me because innocent people are getting tortured and nobody's saying nothing. Like, nobody's saying nothing. Nobody's saying nothing as to not look bad in front of white people. This is insane to me. I remember I saw some mothers talking about their children being murdered by other black men, and they still blaming the police. I saw Kwame Kilpatrick get pardoned by Trump, get out of prison, and still not fool with Trump. What I found is that black people don't have any honor. There's no honor involved. That's the best word I can say. It's just no honor. It's not honor. It's just none. There's no honor involved. It's no honor. It's not honorable to know all this stuff is going on and to not speak on it because you don't want to give white people ammunition when they're talking about you. Thank you so much, Idris. I really appreciate it. Listen, I love you all. Thank you, Idris, again. I love you all. Don't let your heart get hardened. There's no need, because how I look at black folks, I look at everybody else the same. I got to pray for everybody. I love my enemies. I got to pray for them. This is what God requires us to do. So don't let your heart get hardened. However, we are going to call a spade, though. And you can't say you love someone and don't hold them accountable, because you know a person not being accountable will lead to their destruction. Accountability is what keeps somebody off of the path of destruction. So we must hold each other accountable, because iron sharpens iron. I'm not letting you just go off road and do what you want to do. No. The Bible talks about that one sheep going off and the shepherd going to get that one sheep, because that one sheep is still valuable. He's not putting that one, he's not saying, oh, one is, no. All those sheep have the same value. We all have the same value. So I don't want our hearts to get hardened. We got to love each other still. We got to pray for each other. But listen, I love you all. I thank y'all so much. And I will see you all soon. Thank y'all so much.